baptism need to be about keeping these commandments.
This is not what I expected out of them. The true Bible, the book about following.
Right. The Most High has given us guidance on what we need to do.
It's Officer Eli.
It's Officer Nahshon.
Officer Ezekiel.
What I want to do is I want to point out that Hollywood knows the truth. They know what they're hiding, okay? So let's play that clip. Let's play that clip. I'm kind of going out of sequence because I think I wanted to put something before this. But you know what? Let's read that. Give me Genesis 25:21. Let's read.
Yes, sir. Genesis chapter 25 and verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren.
So the question is, are we teaching hate or are we teaching truth? And which way will the popular persuasion cause you to think? Will it cause you to think that what we're bringing out is about hatred or what we're bringing out is about truth? All right, read it again.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her.
So these were black people. Isaac and Rebekah were black. There was a black man and a black woman. Okay, and there was prayers that were sent up for her to conceive, so that the next time Isaac and Rebekah got together, she would get pregnant because she was barren at this time. Go ahead.
And she said, "If it be so, why am I thus?
If this be a blessing from the Lord, why is this battle going on in my stomach? There's a war going on in her belly." So the Most High was letting you know that it's never going to be a situation where the people were going to automatically get together.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
And she went to inquire of the Lord to ask about this strange beating that's going on in her womb. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations are in thy womb. The Lord is telling us, telling the reader, anybody that's reading, that the Most High put 2 nations that were going to be opposed to each other. Enemies to each other. 2 nations are in thy womb. He didn't, and so basically what was happening is that she was pregnant with just 2 boys. The Lord is saying that not only are they just going to be 2 boys, but I'm going to have these 2 to be the progenitor of 2 nations. Okay? Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And they will also have 2 different spirits in them. So there's no mystery as to why the white man is the devil and he's a liar. There's no mystery why, because God made him that way. Yes, we're reading about him. We're reading about his birth. Oh, we're going to prove that too. We're reading about his birth. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. Who's saying this? God. Who's saying this? The Most High. The Most High put two different spirits, 2 different people, 2 different boys, because they will oppose each other in her womb, and he's going to cause them to have friction from the beginning all the way to the end.
Right. I could imagine Jacob choking Esau with the umbilical cord.
Yeah, yes, sir, because that's how that thing was going down.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
So the Most High was never about everybody being equal. He said, and the elder shall read that 23rd verse again. Get my thoughts together.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 nations. Not only are they 2 boys, but they are 2 different nations. 2 nations are in your womb, Rebekah. He's answering her. Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
And 2 manner of people. They're 2 different spirits. So what if you understood that the Most High was going to put 2 different spirits in these 2 boys? There's no way in the world he meant for everybody to be together. This is telling you crystal clear. Nowhere in the Bible did it say that Esau was going to change, because that's what we're reading about. Right. He was going to be, God made him to be the way he made him, and that's the way he's going to be. Okay? Hold that and give me Romans 9. Romans 9 and 11.
Romans chapter 9 and verse 11. For the children, being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
They hadn't done any good or evil. This was before they even did anything. Go ahead.
That the purpose of God,
That the purpose of God was going to choose the parts for these two boys. Go ahead.
according to election,
According to God's choosing. That's what it means when it says according to his election. Go ahead.
might stand,
God's election, God's choice is going to stand.
not of works, but of him that called.
It had nothing to do with what they did. The Most High called them to be what he called them to be. Read on.
It was said unto her,
It was said unto Rebekah. It was making reference back to Genesis. Go ahead.
the elder shall serve the younger.
That's what we just read earlier. And it said that the elder child, the firstborn, is going to be a servant to the second child. This was said before the children were even born. Go ahead.
As it is written, Jacob have I loved,
As it is written in the book of Malachi, as it is written,
but
he
Esau,
said, as it is written,
Jacob have I loved.
Jacob have I loved. God's letting you know that God ain't dealing with everybody equally. Jacob have I loved.
But Esau have I hated.
He said that before they were born. So there's nothing that you can do to change that. Go ahead.
What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with God?
A lot of people say God is unrighteous. Like people can manipulate God. And they'll manipulate our minds and tell us, well, that Bible is wrong. And we'd be stupid enough to follow them, following their popular persuasion, rather than going by the word of God that says what it says.
Right.
This is the craziness that's going on in this system.
I don't see how they got over 1 million Bibles,
Mm.
and they'll say what we saying is hate, but it says it's hate in the Bible.
Yeah. The reason why they're doing that is because they know that our people, like I've been talking about, our people are terrorized into not seeing facts. That's what it is. They use oppressive, terroristic tactics to cause you not to see what's obvious. Okay, and that's what's going on with our people. But we're gonna deal with all of that. Okay, so now that we've read that, let's go back to Genesis. Read that 23rd verse again.
Genesis chapter 25, verse 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
God said he was going to separate the 2 nations. Go ahead.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. So the question is, because not only are we stronger physically, we're strong spiritually, mentally. It's talking about Esau and Jacob. It's talking about the father of the Edomites, which is Esau, and it's talking about the father of the 12 tribes of Israel, which is Jacob. The children of Jacob was going to be superior in every way. Who made it that way? God. So, because we broke the laws of God, the Most High caused us to be put up underneath our enemies, and our enemies knowing who we are. They knowing that the great strength that we have, that's the reason why they have to keep a heavy watch on us. Yep. They said if we leave him alone and he gets into the orbit of that Bible and that phenomenon hit him, we're in trouble. So they said we cannot do that. So the question is, how do we keep him as a slave? That's the point. That's what I'm going to go off. That's what I'm going into in this lesson. So I want to make the point. The question is, how do we mute this strength and still profit off of them? So that's the point. They know that the Israelites are superior. They know that. That's the reason why they keep a heavy watch on them. You can't even get together on your jobs and wherever you at. If a group of you get together, they have to be a white man that's coming along, or he'll send a token Negro. He will send a program marshmallow brain Negro to stand there and be a damn microphone for the enemy. He'll send him. But he knows it. He said he cannot allow you to be on your own without being monitored and supervised, because he knows who you are. A conqueror knows who he has in captivity. Okay? Read that statement again.
Yes, sir. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Go ahead.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. That's the 12 tribes of Israel. The Negroes, the so-called Haitians, the West Indians, the Puerto Ricans, the Dominicans, the Cubans, the Mexicans. All these people are stronger. The nation of Israel is stronger than everybody else. And that's the reason why the nations love to have us as slaves, love to have us as servants. That's the reason why. That's the reason why they got Issachar all in the homes and all of that, because they know that the only what's wrong with us is that we don't have our history, but our bodies. If you can train our bodies to just work, you got a hell of a workforce. And Esau knows that. He said, but the thing I have to do, I have to make sure that they be away from their history And I can use them because they are the best workers ever, because they are the people of the Bible. But let me make sure that they don't get that history. And that's what's going on with Kyrie Irving, Ye, all of them. They said these people are trying to, because these people are trying to get back to their natural habitat, meaning the Bible. And they said that the mind has a strong will. This is what they wrote in that Willie Lynch book. They said that the mind has a strong desire to correct and recorrect itself over substantial periods of time, if it can get in touch with historical base, with substantial historical base. So they understand that they have to be brought out of that Bible so that they can be manipulated. That's what's going on. And their whole system, their whole media, their entire persuasion is designed, regardless of where it's at. It's all geared to make sure that we never wake up. The greatest secret in the world is the identity of the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, that's why the Bible calls them lost. What you got?
I was just going to say, Bishop, that's why it's so important for us to go out there and teach our people.
Oh, yes.
And that's why they're getting on Ye and Kyrie, because the influence that they have, they can't have that. Millions and millions of people learning who they are just like that in a snap, one tweet. They like, nah, cut that thing short.
Exactly.
Bishop, I don't know if you had Acts 4?
No. Go ahead, bring it out.
Could we get Acts 4 and 25? Because as you said, the media, they control everything that we listen to, what we hear, what we think. It's, the television, they're telling their vision. They're giving us what they want us to know.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's the same thing that they did with the apostles. Read.
Acts chapter 4 and verse 25. Who by the mouth of thy servant David has said, why did the heathen rage and the people imagine vain things?
So when he speaks a little bit of truth, over 1 million people hear it. That brings them rage, because we're out teaching every Sabbath. We're out teaching 365 days out the year, whatever camp is out there. So we want the message to get out there. All you got is one person to say something, and you have all of the media up in an uproar about it, right? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Verse 26, the kings of the earth stood up, and the rulers were gathered together against the Lord and against his Christ. For of a truth against thy holy child Jesus, whom thou hast anointed, both Herod and Pontius Pilate.
So today, those would be the Jews, so-called Jewish people. Those would be their media, their outlets. Go ahead.
With the Gentiles and the people of Israel were gathered together.
So all of them do that, and then the ones who they terrorize, Bishop, that don't pay attention to the facts of the Bible, they all come together against the people of God.
Right.
Exactly.
Because they can't, they have no idea who they are. That's why why would you come against your own people? Because they're not being, from your youth, you've been taught that you're African Americans, you've been taught that you're niggas, you've been taught that you're nothing. That's why they will come against us. When somebody come out there and try to build them up, they're like, oh, I'm not used to this. Hold on now, what you doing?
Exactly. Now, here's what's heavy about all this. Like, I'm talking about popular persuasion, and I'm talking about how the fact that they want to keep our identity a mystery, but Hollywood knows the truth. Hollywood knows the truth. We're going to show you that. Hollyweird, that's what I call it. Hollyweird knows the truth. Hollywood knows the truth. What I'm about to show y'all is a young Bishop Nathaniel. This goes way back.
Bring it out.
Okay. I had to be cautious. I should have called him before I did this, because he might get on me. But that's my bishop. Many years ago, the Spirit hit him to go into the archives and pull up all kinds of videos, all kinds of proof that Hollywood knows the truth. And he did four segments on it. And I know that, yes, a lot of people don't know about it, but he did that. And I had to search high and low, and I found him. And immediately I said to brothers, download it, because the minute that this truth get out there, they're gonna start deleting them. Okay, so this is up here. Now, Bishop looks a whole lot younger in this video here, but that's my bishop. Come on with it. What do we got? Hollywood knows the truth. Go ahead.
Okay. Time is short. Hollywood knows what Hollywood knows. Hollywood knows that you, all the 12 tribes of Israel, the scholars of society know that you are the 12 tribes of Israel. You don't know that, though. Let's wake up. Let's get ourselves together. Let's get our minds right and come together in Christ. Okay? Have that love, respect for one another. Because, believe it or not, we're going to need one another soon to come.
All right. All praise to the Most High. So that's the start of it. I use that to introduce where I'm going. Because the message is, just like the bishop said, is that we have to come together and keep these commandments and band together as the children of Israel. Give me that in Zephaniah 2:1. This is what Bishop is talking about. This is what my bishop is talking about. All praise to the Most High.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together.
Gather ourselves together. Go ahead.
Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. Gather ourselves together. The Most High said for us to gather together. That's a commandment. That's an order that the Most High is giving. Go ahead.
Before the decree bring forth.
Before the destruction comes forward. The Most High is going to blow this place to hell and back.
Before the day pass as the shaft.
Before the day pass by. Before this whole kingdom be destroyed. Go ahead.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Most High comes upon us. The Most High told us to get ourselves together. Go ahead.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon us. Give me Revelation 18 and 4. Revelation 18 and 4.
Revelation.
Saying the same message.
Chapter 18 and verse 4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people.
Come out of Babylon the Great, meaning out of the persuasion, the popular persuasion that's causing our people to deal with each other like we're niggas and spicks. And we're neither one of those. We are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And we need to realize who we are and act accordingly according to our book, the Bible. Go ahead.
That ye be not partakers of her sins.
That we don't get caught by like the scripture said in Zephaniah, that the day don't pass as the chaff. That's what it's talking about, that we don't get caught in the Babylonian mindset. Go ahead.
In that ye receive not of her plagues.
And that you don't receive of her judgments. That's what the Most High is saying, that you don't receive of her judgments. Okay? Now, let's go back to the video.
All right, we're going to open up with a flick called Genesis.
Hold on. This is now, what are we talking about? We're talking about Hollywood Knows the Truth. Come on.
Second.
Now that's an actual DVD.
This is a flick put out by a guy named Sheikh Umar Sissoko, okay? And in it, what I want you to look at, now this was an independent film, all right, done in Africa. I just want you to see how the sons and daughters of Ham portray Jacob and Esau.
Now, even though it was an independent film, there's nothing that goes down on this earth that Hollywood and Esau don't know about. So he knows that this video exists. He knows that this information exists, but he'll keep it among himself. He'll know that it exists. But even like we were talking about with Kyrie and all the rest of them, they don't mind them knowing if they keep it to themselves. That's what the problem is. Right. They'll have this truth in books. They'll have this truth in movies. They'll have this truth in all kinds of areas. But as long as it's not too many of us that know about it, they'll let it be. They'll let it rest in these prestigious bookstores and colleges and these books and all of that. They'll let the truth stay in there because they figure many of us ain't checking that out. Yep. But if somebody grabs that book and puts it on a national, international platform, then all of a sudden they're tearing him up rather than the author that wrote the book, because they said now you've exposed him to the slaves. Because while they was in the libraries, the slaves didn't know about it. While it was in these books, the slaves didn't know about it. But now you went in there and brought it up. Now it's out there. So Esau knows that videos like this exist, but the question is, how many of our so-called Negro and Hispanic people know that these documents exist? That's the point. That's the point. If they played this in the theaters all over the place, it'll be a big-ass problem. They'd be like, shut it down. It'll be like, wasn't it Hebrews to Negroes all over again? Right. A documentary that been out for years. Right. But because Kyrie just posted the link, he didn't even say nothing. Just put it up there. They said that nigga just put it up there, and now he got all of the niggas asking questions about it, and the doggone viewership went up like crazy. Why? Because it's no longer hidden. That's the whole point. Go ahead. Let my bishop roll.
The reason for this is we did a teaching explaining Genesis 25:25, and for some reason you get many unlearned Israelites who want to pop up all around YouTube and then try to contradict everything we bring out of the scriptures. And they sit there and go, Jacob, how they go? Esau was the black man. Esau was black like me. Don't listen to the guy that say Esau was the white man. Esau was black like me. These unlearned Israelites that's popping up all over YouTube, listen, avoid them like the plague. They're very unlearned. Okay, so we're going to...
So, as you can see, the bishop explains the importance that Hollywood knows the truth, regardless of who made the film. It's a made film, and it's out there. People know about it. Okay? So, now let's go back to Genesis, and let's read. Let's read, and then we're going to play the film. Now, where do we stop at? We stopped at 9. Okay. Read.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. In the first,
they were not identical twins. They were fraternal twins, meaning they were fertilized at the same time, because it already told you that they were two different nations. Go ahead. So they were not identical. Read.
And the first came out red.
And the first child came out red. Remember that statement right there. And the first child came out red. Why did God have it recorded in the Bible that it came out red? Because everybody was brown.
Right.
Was brown like the ground. Okay? Was brown like the ground, like the dirt that Adam was made out of. Everybody looked the same. That's the reason why when you read from Adam all the way down, you don't read nothing about a child color, because it all was dark brown. And the only time they mention color, like when you read about Miriam, who the Lord slapped her with leprosy, that's when color was mentioned, which lets you know that she was a black woman. Let me show you some racism real quick. Give me Numbers, the 12th chapter. Watch this here. Let me show you some popular persuasion that cause our people to just ignore facts. Now, like what I said, all of the people from Adam all the way down to what we read was all brown. Brown, different shades of brown, so you can understand. You got it? 12 and 1.
Numbers chapter 12 and verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake.
Miriam was the sister of Moses. I remember playing the clips from that movie, The Ten Commandments, Cecil DeMille, that made that movie in the 50s. Went over to Cairo, Egypt, and actually filmed the Ten Commandments in the place where it's pure black people all over the place. And he's got Moses as a white man, and had Miriam, because I think they showed her in the beginning with the basket. Miriam as a white woman had all the. It was just garbage how they just did that. Just lied. Damn. Go ahead.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman.
Wait a minute now. Here's the racism now. Read that statement again. They said that Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses because of the what?
Ethiopian woman.
Nobody is going to mistake Ethiopians as white people. Nobody. The minute you hear Ethiopians, everybody has a mental image of what it's talking about. Right. So what would people with their racist upbringing, with their racist indoctrination, they will think that Moses is a white man dealing with a black woman, and his white brother and white sister, Moses and Aaron, got mad at him because she was a black woman. That's the racism that they have taught our people, which is complete BS. That's not the reason why they were mad at Moses for that. They were mad because Moses was dealing with a woman of another nation, and God, the Most High, allowed it. That's what the reason was. It had nothing to do with the color. So I have to say that because people have been, and Geno Jennings in his church has not corrected this. Right. You got these preachers out here that have not corrected this. They allow the sickness to go down knowing that it's wrong, knowing that our people are suffering from these kinds of lies. Okay? So, read that again.
And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married. For he had married an Ethiopian woman.
For he had married a woman of another nation. Okay? Like I said, people knew that the woman was black because they can't lie about her being an Ethiopian. They can't make her white because they would have done that. But no, she was a black woman. Just like they could not hide the fact that they had to put that black actor in the Ten Commandments. They could not hide him. When you had Charlton Heston coming up to Yul Brynner and I forget the other actor that was playing King Seti. He said, "Behold, I bring you Ethiopia." The people knew that Ethiopia better not walk up on the steps and be no white man. So they said, he said, got to be black. But they said, but we going to slide this past their intelligence because the people will not understand that the Egyptians and the Ethiopians are blood brothers, and everybody in the movie is supposed to be black. The only people that's in the movie that was supposed to be white was the Amalekites that came at the well to fight against the women that was drawing water. Those are the only people that were supposed to be white in that entire movie. Everybody else is supposed to be black. Everybody. Go ahead. Where we at?
Verse 2. And they said, have the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses?
Give me verse 10.
Numbers chapter 12 and verse 10. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle. And behold, Miriam became leprous.
Miriam became leprous. If she became leprous, that means she looked different from the leprosy. Read that again.
Miriam became leprous.
What does it mean, leprosy in the Bible? Read.
White as snow.
Her brown pigment was missing. She looked like Esau. That's what it's telling you right there. She looked like Esau. Read that statement again.
Miriam became leprous.
She became leprous. She became leprous, meaning she wasn't leprous. She became leprous. That Most High smacked her with leprosy.
Smacked her with whiteness.
Smacked her with whiteness. And they lied. They said that Noah cursed Ham with blackness. And everybody was black.
Right.
Complete lies. We're actually reading about a curse right here. Leprosy.
Right.
Okay? That's in the book. That's in the Bible. Leviticus is also written in there too about leprosy. Now, give me Exodus 4 and 4, I think. Exodus 4 and 4. Watch this. Because if Miriam became leprous, that means she was a dark brown skinned woman. Let's find that. Let's find that out.
Exodus chapter 4 and verse 4.
Read.
And the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thy hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand.
That was the serpent that the Most High told Moses to grab when he was on the mountain. Said, "I'm going to be with you, Moses. I'm going to show you that I'm behind you." Go ahead.
You want verse 6, Bishop?
It's coming.
Okay, yes, sir. That they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have appeared unto thee.
Meaning that I'm with you, Moses. So I'm going to show you these miracles. So I showed you the miracle. I showed you my power by turning that snake into a staff. He turned the staff into a snake, then he turned the snake back to a staff. That's what you just read there. Go ahead. They showed that in the movie. Notice this. They showed that part in the movie.
Right.
But how come they didn't show this part coming up?
And the Lord said, furthermore unto him,
Let me show you another miracle, Moses, that I'm with you. Go ahead.
put now thy hand into thy bosom.
Put forth thine hand into thy bosom. Go ahead.
And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow.
His hand looked like leprosy. His hand looked like Miriam when she got hit with the leprosy. So read on. It's gonna tell you some more about this. Go ahead.
And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again.
So when he told Moses the first time to put his hand into his bosom, when he pulled it out, his hand was leprous, like this. Go ahead. And then when he told him to put it back.
And he put his hand into his bosom again.
Go ahead.
And plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
When he took it out, the brown color was on his hand, just like the rest of his body. That's what it meant when it said his other flesh. Because the miracle was to turn his hand white as snow, leprous. That's what happened with Miriam. So when we read that in Numbers, the 12th chapter, the first couple of verses, they were all black. The argument or the problem that Miriam had and Aaron had was because he had married an Ethiopian woman, which of another nation. It was not the color. But we're going to read about color now. Okay, let's go back to Genesis.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25.
Yes.
And the first came out red.
And the first came out red. Go ahead.
All over like an hairy garment.
Like a hairy garment. Red and hairy. That's Esau. Go ahead.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name wasted away is he. That's what the name Esau means. His skin, his brown color was wasted away. That's leprosy. That's the same thing that happened to Miriam. Her brown color was wasted away. That's what happened with Moses' hand. The brown color was missing. Okay, that's what the same word is there. That's what it's telling you. Leprosy. Okay, so now this is in the Bible. Let's see if Hollywood was. Let's see if we got this wrong. Go to the video. Let's see if we got this wrong.
So now what we want to do is look at this movie, Genesis, and see how Esau and Jacob are portrayed.
So pause it. He said, Father, why does the hunter want to kill you? Go ahead. He is my brother Esau. Why does he want to kill you? We were children at the time. Hold it. Now he's getting ready to explain it to him. Because that's his son. He said, I'm getting ready to explain why this man wants to kill me. He said, at dawn, Esau was gone hunting. Read it. Go ahead, play on. So, it says, one afternoon, I made lentil soup. Go ahead. Esau returned from the field, from the hunt. Go ahead. With nothing. Hunger had gripped him. Wait a minute. What the hell? Who's coming up on the backside? Go ahead. Let it play. Did you catch anything? Nothing. I am hungry. He said, I could sell, what he said, I could sell myself into slavery for some food. Now, the Most High made, hold it. The Most High made that son beat down on him that day. Okay? So, the Most High setting this whole thing up. He come back hungry, tired, at the point about to die. Famished.
Yeah.
Famished. Go ahead. So Jacob says, you ain't catch nothing? He said, no, I ain't catch anything. He said, go ahead. He said, well, wait till the night, then you'll get something to eat. He said, Jacob, my beloved brother, I beg you. I am about to die. Die? Well, go ahead. And that way I'll be the eldest son. Be the eldest if he said be the eldest. I don't care. Go ahead. Just give me some food, damn it. Are you sure about that? Swear it. I need you to swear. I don't believe you. Swear it. Better than that. Okay. So my brother, he swore. He said, Esau, son of Isaac, descendant of Abraham and Noah, I swear before God that I sell my birthright for the soup, for your soup. So that's what he did. For some lentil soup? Exactly. The son, listen, you mean to tell me he gave up the position of the firstborn for some damn soup? Give me Hebrews, man. Give me Hebrews. Give me Hebrews. Okay.
Hebrews chapter 12.
16, right. 12 and 16. Come on.
Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
So that's in the Bible. So these brothers that made that film, they knew that. And Esau knows that. And Hollywood knows that. He sold his birthright. Such a vain person. That's why the son said, you mean he'd sell all of that for just some lentil soup? Yes. Because he's a vile demon. Okay? Go ahead.
For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing.
He would have inherited the blessing of being the firstborn of God. Okay?
He was rejected.
The Most High rejected him and his whole seed. The whole seed of Esau is rejected. Okay?
For he found no place of repentance.
For he found no place of repentance. Because of that one act. Go ahead. That God caused him to do. Go ahead.
Though he sought it carefully with tears.
Though he cried with tears to try to get that blessing back. When he went to his father later on and said, bless me, what about me? And Isaac had to give him the blessing of weapons to make him conquer and all that so that he could be built up. All of that was the plan of the Most High. All of that was the plan of the Most High.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is